Hi, I'm Hadassah and welcome back to my channel. I recently got back from a trip to Colorado and it was a refreshing time both physically and spiritually, and I wanted to share with you just some of the things that stuck out to me and what the Lord was teaching me through that week and just the encouragement that it was to me. So the week was more of just stirring up of what already existed, not necessarily new teaching or training. And so for me, it was just mainly a reminder to stay the course, not give up, not grow weary in well-doing, and that this is a spiritual battle that we are fighting, and battle is tiring. Some key points that stuck out was rest is important. We need to rest. God created us for rest, and we are supposed to be working out of our rest. So you rest, and because you've had a good night's rest, in theory, then that means you can go to work and work that day, whether that's at work or ministering or taking care of your home and just being a homemaker. It's from that rest that you work and minister, instead of what our concept as Westerners tends to be, where we work, and then we rest. And so we're working towards that rest. We're working towards that weekend that we can rest and relax, instead of saying, hey, I had a restful, relaxing weekend, so now I can go and work for the week. So that was one point that stuck out, the importance of rest in our lives and how we work from rest, not to rest. Another point that stuck out to me was more along the lines of spiritual warfare. And the question that was asked was, how many arrows does it take to stop you? And they're not physical arrows for me, and most likely will not be physical arrows for you. For the person, Stanley Dale, who was the example, it was physical arrows. He was shot in two separate occasions. The first time he received 5 arrows, and he pulled all 5 of them out and broke them. And each arrow was enough to kill a man, a healthy warrior. Like, they were man-killing arrows, meaning that one arrow would kill one soldier, warrior. And Stanley took 5 and pulled them out and broke them in defiance of the evil, the satanic, demonic dependence that they were shot out of. These warriors were relying on demonic strength, and Stanley was standing against it for the sake of Christ. And so he pulls them out, and he then goes for a hike, not because he wanted to go for a hike, but because from the village that he was shot at back to his home in the airstrip, it was several hours, and the last 1,500 feet was a vertical climb up a cliff for him. And just how he just kept going was the example. And then the next time he was shot, he actually died. But they had to shoot him with 100 of these man-killing arrows. And again, at first he started pulling them out and breaking them in defiance of darkness. And he died well. But for me, it was more of, how many arrows can I take? Physically, emotionally, in this battle that I'm fighting spiritually. And the answer is, however many are shot at me. So no matter if that's 1 arrow or whether that's 100 arrows, I can take that number of arrows. And it was an encouragement to me to be reminded that God gives grace for what he calls us to. And if he gave Stanley the grace to be shot 5 times, and then again 100 times. And yes, the 100 times ended up taking him home to be with the Lord, but he didn't go into it going, oh, well, I can only take 50 of these man-killing arrows. He went in with the mindset of however many are shot, that is how many I can take, because God will give me the grace for it. And so it was an encouragement to my soul to be reminded that God gives grace for what he calls us to. And even though the pressures of life come at me like arrows, God provides the grace to accept and pull out and break in defiance of the pressures and the temptations and just the onslaught that comes at me. Another point that stuck out to me, to not run away from my unique assignment. God has placed me where he has placed me and put me in the job that he has put me in. He has put me in the church that I am at for a unique purpose. And this is not to say that Christianity is all about me, but to be reminded that even when it's discouraging to minister and to serve and to just be faithful day in and day out, going to work, working faithfully as to the Lord, being a godly example, and coming home and cooking and cleaning and doing yard work, and then going to church and ministering and encouraging one another at church. It sometimes doesn't seem grand. It's kind of monotonous. And yet, this is the unique assignment God has given Hadassah. He didn't give me this other assignment. He gave me this assignment. And I should not try to escape from this assignment, because God gave it to me and he has a purpose for it. So those were just a few things that stuck out to me. And we had projects and assignments that we had to work on as well. And I will be doing future videos on some of those things specifically. And so I'm not going to include them in this summary. So thank you for watching and see you next time. Semper Fi for his glory until then. Bye.